G'day, my name's Dan Webber and I'm the Mental Fisherman. And we are back. Got myself a drink of water and ready to continue on the next part of this story. And this part is it's a pretty tough time in my life. So how did I get to this part? I basically worked my absolute arse off running my own business. I worked on my own for quite a while before I did start, till I did start on an apprentice, or a couple of apprentices. Had a fair bit of trouble finding decent young fellas to work for me. I do tend to run a fairly tight ship when it comes to business. Anyway, it was just full on. It was nose to the grindstone. Like I said, coming off the back of last episode, I was working on building up our place down here. I actually built a 2-bedroom flat, which is on the other side of this wall is my bigger part of the shed. And on, there's a couple of bays there that I actually built out, and it was our starting point. It was our leg up to move the family and move the business down here full time, and start getting things going. So I took the plunge, moved down. I'd done a letterbox drop advertising my business, and within 6 weeks I was full time, flat out, and I would work 6-7 days a week. The business was fresh. I'd moved to a new town, and I really thought in my mind back then that I really had to take on each and every job I could get my hands on. Looking back, I probably didn't need to go that hard, but it's a pretty nervous time when I basically restarted the business from scratch down here. So I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to be able to work for somebody and build my reputation as being reliable in that business. I think I've done a pretty good job of that. We're still trading successfully down here now. Like I said, I've got a couple of guys that work for me, and things have worked out pretty bloody well. It was a great move. It's a great lifestyle here in Cootamundra. Great for the kids. My wife's a principal at one of the schools not too far away from here. So, all in all, life is bloody good. And I guess in those earlier days, this stuff just seems like it was just so far away. Like I really had to, I felt like I had to just work my absolute guts out, give it everything. I would work and work big hours from sun up till sundown, just to make sure that I didn't fail. And I don't know that I was ever of any threat of failing. I think I've got a pretty strong work ethic, but what I didn't have was the ability to say no to a potential customer, and I didn't know how to set boundaries as to how long I would work each and every day and how many days a week I would work. There was no life-work balance in my life at that time whatsoever, really. It was just all about work. Eventually, we saved up and decided that we would build on our block here. We've got about 8 acres here, and like I said, I'd worked, my wife had worked, and we'd saved up money to be able to build. We picked a home and we built it, and that was a pretty bloody stressful time too, I might say. I don't know, any of you that are watching this might agree that building your own home is not necessarily the dream that it's made out to be. It can be a pretty stressful time. You've got to be pretty good at being able to lay the line down to your builders and that sort of stuff. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that. I don't have a whole lot of trouble with, I'm not sure if you call it conflict, but I'm quite happy to, put it on the line and tell it how it is with different things. So there was issues along the way, and we got them all resolved, and we now live in a beautiful home. But that was part of the stress, part of adding the stress. So I've got this nice new home. There was still a few bits and pieces that I was working on to get it finished off. I had a new employee at the time that wasn't working out, and the stresses were building. The stresses were really building. I was still working my guts out at this stage, and had been, obviously for many, many years. Now I had that sort of added pressure. I've got a bigger mortgage. I've now got, a couple of kids, and I was still nose to the grindstone, trying to get it done, get the job done. I knew there was something going on. I could feel that I was becoming a little bit disjointed from my friends and family. I could feel that there was no sort of rest. There was always a thought of where I should be and could be and what I could be doing. If there was a bit of spare time, it was, I got out for a fish. I did still fish every now and then, and I knew that I had to try and keep doing that. It's a good reliever, a good way to break away from the stresses and things like that. But I never really addressed it properly. I did buy myself a new boat, and I think that was part of, I guess I was rewarding myself for having worked so hard, and my wife and I had worked really hard, and I had boys now that were getting to an age where they could go out with me and have a bit of a fish. And we're in 2017 now, and I guess the buying of the boat I thought was going to fix things. I'm not going to say that it added to the stress, but it certainly didn't take it away, because I hadn't made time. I hadn't made time in my life to have time for recreation. So I bought a boat and was just trying to jam that recreation into an already packed out schedule. And in all honesty, we're getting to the point now where I'm going to talk about where it all basically fell apart. And to be honest, I think the pressure was actually being relieved a little bit, and I think my mind actually started to slow down. And when it slowed down, it actually had time to process what the hell had been going on, and the shit hit the fan.